and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Brian Langille, the human defense machine. Wow, nothing being put on the spot. Moving on. I don't know, it makes sense to me. I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to offend any of you. Personally, I don't care. Don't get me wrong, I really think that was disastrous. Teenage drivers can't drive. If you've read the issue, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, here's a quick recap. That's when they should have the camera rolling, because that's what's going to make for good TV.
Hey, and welcome to episode number 6 of the Langille Show. My name is Brian Langille, and tonight, for entertainment purposes only, I'm trying to pull off my best Obi-Wan Kenobi impression. If you read Langille Letter 116, which was entitled One Black Sheep, that came out earlier today, you know that I recently purchased the hottest game of the year, that being Grand Theft Auto 4. You also probably know the adventure I had trying to get the game, but for those of you who haven't read the Langille Letter yet, which by the way is available at langilleletter.com, let's recap it real quick. I went to Future Shop at 11 o'clock on Monday night, an hour before the store opened at midnight for the grand selling of Grand Theft Auto 4. I stood in the line for 59 minutes, and at 11:59 the store clerk came out and said, anybody looking to pick it up for PS3? And I seemingly was the only one. There was about 40 of us in the line, and I was the only one who wanted the PS3 version apparently. So I reluctantly put up my hand and said, I do, knowing full well that this was not going to end well. And he proceeded to tell me that they don't have any copies in for the PS3, and, you know, I'm sorry about my luck. Which was fine. I can deal with that. It would have been nice if there was a sign put up or something, or just he would have come out around 11 and said, hey, by the way, anyone in line right now, it's not going to be here. Something that saved me the hour of being out there with Crocs on, freezing my feet and doing everything else. But, I mean, it's my own fault. I got to admit that. I mean, no one forced me at gunpoint. Grand Theft Auto reference. To go out there and wait for an hour. That was me, but you know, I did it because I want the game, and I realized that if I didn't pick it up that night, that I probably wouldn't get it the next day, because it's, as they say, the hottest selling game of the year. Basically, long story short, this is all in the Langille Letter. I went out and went to Microplay and got the game from there, because there was no lineup, there was no problems. I just went in and picked up the copy, and away I went. So, sorry to cut all the interesting parts out for the viewers, but it's on the Langille Letter. One thing I will talk about is the 39-ish people in line for the Xbox all laughing and thinking it's great, and, you know, sucks to be that guy. Well, that guy being me. You know, that part did suck. I'm not a fan of that one. But, hey, you know, I mean, I'm a PS3 player. I want the game for PS3, I guess, you know, just wasn't in the cards for me. I guess how it turns out, though, which is kind of funny, is that the game is having incredibly bad press right now. Not for the violence, which I'll touch on here in a minute, but it's locking up apparently for Xbox users and some PS3 users. So I'm wondering, my copy works fine. I'm wondering what the percentage of the Xbox people who were laughing at me because I wasn't getting the game that night, I wondered how many of them are having lockup problems, can't play the game at all. That would be great to know. Anyway, back to the bad press and all that good stuff. Yeah, I recently saw a report on CBC News where they were talking about how Grand Theft Auto is a horrible game and you shouldn't market it to kids, and kids are going to want to play this, and there's violence, and there's violence, and there's nudity, and there's violence, and there's guns, and there's violence, and there's nudity, and there's... It's Grand Theft Auto. It's been out for years. If you don't know the genre, then this is not, you know, this is not new news. This has been the way the game's been going for years. San Andreas had it, Vice City had it, Grand Theft Auto 3 had it. I could keep going back, but at that point, you know, I'm into computer games only and not even console, so we're going to skip it. But yes, there's violence. Yeah, you can beat a hooker with a baseball bat and take all our money. Does that mean I'm going to go out here in Charlottetown and find myself a hooker and beat her with a baseball bat? No. I can take guns and shoot anybody randomly that I want. Does that mean I'm going to do that? No. I mean, let's face it, I worked in a call center for 8 years and I didn't shoot anybody. So I figured I'd come out here and give you a bit of a review, and I've only played it for about an hour, but I can tell you honestly that this is quickly becoming my favorite game ever. And I haven't had a new favorite game in 20 years. My favorite game of all time has always been Contra. And 20 years ago, the game looked something like this. I played that game nonstop. I played it till my fingers were practically bleeding. I played that game. So I loved Contra. This is before the internet, before online gaming and stuff. So I don't know exactly how high in world rankings I would have been, but I'm willing to bet that I was pretty high up there because I played this game like nonstop and I was actually good at it. It was something that I was actually good at. This may actually bypass that. The funniest thing is that this is the quality of the game back in 1987, 1988, and this is the quality of the game in 2008.
So this is the American dream.
Just a smidge of a difference, eh? Just a little bit. As you can plainly see, gaming's changed a lot in the last 20 years, and this game here is phenomenal. I'm actually scared to see how Grand Theft Auto 5 or maybe Grand Theft Auto 6 will actually look, because this game is just absolutely insane. Now, I'd love to sit here and still talk about it, but it's 10 after 8 at night, and I want to get some of this in before I go to bed. You know, see what it's like. Maybe I'll hit a hooker with a baseball bat, or maybe I'll shoot someone randomly for no reason. All in the game, of course. I mean, I'm not going to go out in my car and go down the street and do this. I hope not, anyway. Maybe CBC's right. Maybe I'll just turn out and go crazy tonight, and I'll go and do this. But I'm willing to probably bet that's not going to happen. So, if you haven't picked up the game yet, I strongly recommend to go out and pick up Grand Theft Auto 4. You will definitely enjoy it. I'm not going to give you any spoilers or ruin the game or do anything to you know, ruin anything for you. Go pick it up, play it. You will love it. Apparently, it takes 30 to 45 hours, apparently, to do everything in the game. So it's not one of these ones where you're just going to rent it at your local video store and play it for the weekend. So this is going to take a bit. So sit down, get comfy, shoot some hookers, or hit them with baseball bats. Do whatever you want, you know. And yeah, enjoy the game. Until next episode, this has been The Langille Show. I'm your host, Brian Langille. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's some little stars down here. Click one. Higher the better, actually. I'd really appreciate it. If you're watching it on LangilleLetter.com, then again, thank you for coming to the website. I really appreciate it. And check out the Langille Letters up above you. The Langille Letter can be caught at LangilleLetter.com and Facebook.com. These videos are, of course, at LangilleLetter.com, YouTube.com, and Facebook.com. So again, thank you for your continued viewing. I really appreciate it. Thank you, and I will see you next episode.